Poles to a contract extension. Our Adam Schefter reporting that the deal ties into Chicago for the next 5 years through the 2029 season. Poles had 2 years remaining on his old deal, but now the Bears have him and new head coach Ben Johnson both under contract for a matching 5 seasons. That could have been part of why they wanted to do this. We'll dive into that. Welcome to NFL Live. Damian Woody is here. We got Kevin Clark on a Friday. Tim Hasselbeck with us for the hour 2. Damian, we're still waiting to see if Caleb Williams can reach his potential, but Poles now has upgraded the roster all around him. Do you like this investment in Poles, specifically right now?
You know, I hate to, sound this way about my fellow BC brethren right here, but I like it pulled the trigger a little bit too early on this one right here. Like, to me, the easiest part was getting Ben Johnson aboard. When you have the number one pick in Caleb Williams, that was the easy sale. Now, the hard part is actually going out and winning football games. You've acquired all this talent, but ultimately you got to win the games on the field, and that's something that we haven't seen the Chicago Bears do yet. So I feel like they pulled the trigger a little bit too early on that.
Here's my official statement. That's it. I don't know.
How do we spell that?
I don't know, like Damian, why you signed this extension right now. They did this year what they've done the last 3 years, which is win the offseason championship. They've got a couple of those banners. They haven't done it on the field yet. Last year, Caleb Williams not only took the 3rd most sacks in history, he took the most unblocked pressure since Next Gen Stats started to tabulate that, which means it was the line's fault, even though he was holding on to the ball way too long. And then you look at the fact that he avoided 50 sacks, which was the highest number in the sport. So he really was under assault the entire season, and Ryan Poles was there for that. Ben Johnson runs this organization basically 1 through 53 on the roster, everything in the building, and that means that Ryan Poles is his buddy, is his sidekick, and that's the job right now. So if Ben Johnson wanted Ryan Poles to be the GM, then he's the GM.
And I think, well, first off, I'm surprised at the BC on BC crime by Damian there. But what I would say is, part of it is just like you do with players. Sometimes being ahead of it is the plan. And so if the expectation is that, the Chicago Bears are going to be good, then go ahead and get the deal done sooner rather than later, because if you see improvement, if you anticipate improvement, then you can see how it would make sense to have your GM and the leadership of your organization locked up.
Yeah, so it's a good sell by my man. It's a good sell on my man Tim Hasselbeck. But again, I need to see the proof in the pudding.
Yep.
We saw what it was. We saw last year what Ryan Poles did as far as building out the roster with the rookie. Didn't work out. Okay, he got all the shiny toys, but he forgot how the sausage is made in the National Football League. Now Ben Johnson comes in from the Detroit atmosphere, where they build from the inside out. I'm not ready to give him credit for what's transpired this offseason.
If there's one thing I can give Ryan Poles credit for, it's recognizing there was a problem, a disaster looming with Caleb Williams. When I talked about all of those numbers from last year, they understood, first of all, go out and get credibility on the offensive line, get credibility with coaching. Dahlman, Joe Tooney, those were top of the market options for the offensive line. So there are no more excuses for Caleb Williams, but I'll say the same about Ryan Poles, and he just got extended.
Okay, by the way, I think D-Wood did the one BC on BC crime to Ryan Poles, and then I think you did BC on BC crime to Tim, too.
I hate to do that to my brother.
Like
but we still good.
Okay, well, we'll just keep track of that ledger throughout the rest of the show. The Bears still looking for their first playoff win since 2010, by the way. Let's stay in that division. The Lions are looking to bounce back from this moment.
Dak Prescott back, looking to throw. Hutchins got him, and down he goes. Aiden Hutchinson joining the sack party here at AT&T Stadium. And he is not getting up. Oh, my goodness. Okay. He pulled his gloves off immediately.
To his mouth.
He knew something was wrong as he took down Dak Prescott. I think left leg.
Yeah, I think it's a little.
Oh, boy.
Hate it for Hutch. That's tough. Obviously he's going to be down for a little while. And so that's tough, man. It's hard when you lose somebody like him. Obviously wish him the best.
one of the more disappointing moments of last season. Aiden Hutchinson going down, but what that sounded like. But look at him sprinting. You love to see it. Aiden Hutchinson is going to make a huge difference being back, hopefully healthy in that Lions defense. And here's Hutchinson on how he's feeling at this point.
I'm exactly where I need to be, and every year I've been able to improve on my own physical attributes along with the mental ones. So I feel like every year I take a step, and despite having that rehab this offseason, I feel like I'm in the perfect spot and exactly where I need to be going into year 4.
Yeah, Hutchinson's impact has been felt in each season. It seems like he's just getting started, by the way, too. Since quarterback pressures have been tracked in 2017, only Micah Parsons and Nick Bosa have more in their first 40 NFL games. Hutchinson third on the list with still 1 game to go. Pretty impressive. You see that impact certainly being the second overall pick paying off. Kevin, let's start with the guy we just heard from, though. What will Hutchinson's return mean for this Lions defense?
A fully healthy Aiden Hutchinson would be the biggest X factor in the entire league this year. Before he went down last year, a 38% win rate on pass rush. Nobody else in football was above 23%. That was Myles Garrett. That is special stuff. In 5 games, he had more sacks than Khalil Mack, Jadeveon Clowney, Matthew Judon had on the entire season. It was one of the most dominating 5-game stretches we've ever seen, and I don't think anybody was going to stop him if he played the final 12 games. So if he comes back and is that level, then yes, the Lions are back where they need to be. I think you're not going to see that immediately just because of human nature, just because it's an injury that takes a little bit of time. But yes, his fully healthy self is a wrecking crew and would change the entire NFC.
Make no mistake about it, he was on pace to be the defensive player of the year.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
I mean, he was on an absolute heater in those first few games. And, the injury is unfortunate. But adding Aiden Hutchinson back to this defense, I mean, that's a tremendous boon for the Detroit Lions. Obviously, we know that defensive coordinator Aaron Glenn moves over to the New York Jets. Kelvin Shepard, I can only imagine, like, Kelvin Shepard now, the new defensive coordinator, is like, I get my guy back. Not only get Aiden Hutchinson back, but all those guys that missed significant time on the Detroit Lions defense.
Yeah, so they get those guys back, right? And Tim, we've mentioned, and you just heard D. Wood say, the loss of Aaron Glenn. They also lost O.C. Ben Johnson, who we're talking about off the top of the show, now the Bears head coach. How much does this really affect them to lose these 2 really important coordinators?
Yeah, look, if you think coaching matters, which it does, we've seen it, every year in the National Football League, then it's always a big deal. As much as we talk about players, I think when you talk about coordinators, it's a big factor. Just look at teams that have lost both coordinators and what their initial reaction to it is. Go back to Philadelphia when they did it. They ended up having to reset it again the very next year. Look what happened when it happened to Dallas, where it was a new offense and defensive coordinator. It's hard. Ben Johnson has a new job for a reason. He was one of the most creative play callers. He was a play designer. He had good timing when he was aggressive with play calls. So I just think that while I agree with D. Wood, you're replacing what I believe is good coaches with good coaches. That being said, there's still a change. There's still some adjustment, and there's still a factor of, look, you're going from somebody that was at the top of the business and doing it. It's why they're being rewarded, getting jobs as head coaches.